If you're watching this right now, you're about to hear the full truth behind the private photo album of Kai and Tan Songyun that accidentally leaked online, photos no one was ever meant to see. In the next few minutes, you will discover the secret moments they shared, the shocking images fans captured before they were taken down, and the private memories the actors themselves never addressed publicly. And trust me, if you think you know their story, this leak changes everything. Stay with this video until the end, because the last set of photos, they reveal a connection deeper than anything fans ever imagined. The internet has always been a wild place. A single glitch, a cloud sync mistake, or a curious fan clicking a little too fast can flip the entire world of a celebrity upside down. But nothing, and truly nothing, prepared cent fans for the moment a hidden, completely private photo album belonging to Kai and Tan Songyun surfaced online for exactly 7 minutes and 31 seconds before it was wiped clean. 7 minutes. That's all it took for screenshots, whispers, theories, and shockwaves to erupt across every major platform in China and then spread internationally like a storm. What did the fans see? How did these photos even exist? What moments were captured that changed everything the public thought they knew about Kai and Tan Songyun? And why did the pictures look far more intimate, far more unfiltered, far more real than anything we've seen from them on screen? Before the cleanup teams rushed in, before managers and PR teams scrambled into crisis mode, a few highly alert fans saved what would become the most controversial celebrity leak of the year. And what those photos showed, what they accidentally revealed, sparked one of the biggest tsunamis of speculation the cent world has ever seen. It all started at exactly 3:17 a.m. Beijing time. Most fans were asleep. But not all. A few were scrolling, some editing fan videos, some replaying scenes from Kai and Tan Songyun's 2020 drama. And then, without warning, a folder appeared under Kai's freshly updated cloud drive, one that was completely public for those few accidental minutes. The folder was titled in simple characters, "Moments Not for Camera." Nobody knew if it was an inside joke, a draft folder, a sync error, or something meant to be private. But what was inside was more shocking than the name itself. The first photo wasn't dramatic, it was disarming. Kai and Tan Songyun sitting on a low wall outside what looked like a traditional courtyard house, the sun setting behind them. No makeup. No styling. Kai leaning back with his head tilted, eyes soft. Tan Songyun looking at him, not at the camera, with an expression most people only give to someone they trust deeply. It didn't feel like a promo shot. It felt intimate. Fans who saw the first image paused. Some gasped. Some thought it was a deleted still from their drama. But then the second photo loaded, and that's when the ground shifted. The second picture was taken from inside a car. Kai and Tan Songyun were trying to fit into a single frame, laughing uncontrollably, eyes half closed, cheeks red, heads nearly touching. But the shock wasn't the closeness, it was the timestamp. The photo was dated months after their drama ended. The drama was over. Filming had wrapped. Yet here they were, together, relaxed, close, and undeniably happy. Not professionally. Not politely. Naturally. This was when fans realized they weren't looking at promotional leftovers. These were memories. Private ones. And the deeper fans went into the album, the more explosive everything became. Another photo showed Tan Songyun resting her head on Kai's shoulder during what seemed like a late-night script practice session, except the script on the table wasn't from any known drama. It looked like a draft, a private project they'd been working on together. Kai's fingers were lightly brushing her hair in the picture, almost unconsciously, as if whoever took the photo, probably Kai himself, didn't even realize his affection was showing. Another image, a blurry selfie of Kai wearing Tan Songyun's oversized sweater, posing like he was trying to look cute, while she was in the background laughing so hard she was covering her face. The kind of photo friends take only when they're comfortable enough to be themselves, messy, goofy, completely off the public stage. But the most shocking photo in the middle of the album was one that froze fans in place. It showed Kai holding an umbrella, not unusual, but Tan Songyun was holding the handle with him, both under the tiny umbrella as heavy rain fell behind them. The angle made it seem like someone else took it, but no. The reflection in the window behind them showed the truth. The photo was taken by Shu Kai leaning his phone against something while they both walked toward it, capturing a moment that looked exactly like a scene from a romance film. Fans reported feeling their hearts stop. Some screamed. Some went speechless. The comments exploded. Why are they holding it like that? This looks like a date. Why did he save this? Why did he title the album like that? This is not for the camera. This is real. But the chaos didn't stop there. As the leak traveled across platforms, more images unfolded, each one adding fuel to the fire. One photo showed them inside what looked like a small art museum or private gallery. Tan Songyun was pointing at a painting while Shu Kai stared at her instead of the art, smiling in a way that no drama scene ever captured. That smile, private, soft, unguarded, became the icon of the leak. It spread everywhere. It turned into memes, edits, fan theories. If there was ever a moment that made people question the true nature of their relationship, it was that smile. Another photo showed them wearing masks and hats, sitting at a noodle shop, bowls steaming in front of them. The shop was the kind that celebrities rarely dare to visit openly, small, cheap, crowded. And yet here they were like two ordinary people on a casual night out. Their hands were closer than necessary on the table, nearly touching. And then, perhaps the most emotional photo. Tan Songyun asleep on a couch, wrapped in a blanket, sunlight drifting over her face. Shu Kai's shadow was visible in the corner of the picture as he took the photo quietly. The caption, written in tiny characters at the bottom, said, "She fell asleep before finishing her story." Fans didn't know whether to scream, cry, or faint. The tenderness in that caption was too real, too raw. It wasn't written for the public. It wasn't meant for fans. It was a private thought captured and saved. Of course, chaos erupted. Some insisted they must have been dating secretly. Others argued they were simply extremely close friends. But then came the last few photos, the ones that got deleted the fastest, and these were the ones that changed everything. One image showed the two standing on a riverside boardwalk at night, city lights shimmering behind them. Shu Kai was holding a camera, and Tan Songyun was hugging him from behind while laughing into his shoulder. Not acting. Not posing. Just there. Just present. Just warm. Another photo, Shu Kai wearing a cap and hoodie, looking at the camera with a surprised expression while Tan Songyun stood behind him with flour on her face. The kitchen counter behind them was a disaster of dough, eggs, and spilled milk. A baking attempt gone horribly wrong but captured forever. And then, out of nowhere, came the most shocking image of the entire album. A photo of two Polaroids. One Polaroid showed Shu Kai taking a picture of Tan Songyun standing in front of a sunset, her hair blowing in the wind. The other Polaroid? Taken by Tan Songyun. It was a picture of Shu Kai looking right at her, smiling in a way that said everything. But what made the internet explode was the background. They weren't in a studio. They weren't on set. They were standing in the same place, on the same day, wearing the same clothes alone. No staff. No cameras. No lighting. Just the two of them capturing each other. Fans said it looked like the moment two people decide they want to remember each other forever. And then, right when the frenzy peaked, the album disappeared. Not just hidden. Deleted. Wiped. Within minutes, Shu Kai's team issued a vague statement about a technical syncing error. Tan Songyun's studio said they had no comment on personal photos. And fans were left trapped between shock, excitement, confusion, and suspicion. But by then, it was too late. The screenshots were everywhere. The theories turned into essays. The whispers turned into storms. People began analyzing every photo angle, every facial expression, every timestamp. Some noticed the same bracelet appearing on Shu Kai's wrist that appeared earlier on Tan Songyun in old interviews. Others found matching locations in their Instagram stories months apart. Dingy noodle shops. Hidden parks. The same art gallery window. Coincidence? Maybe. But not everyone believed that. Some fans insisted this album was proof of a hidden connection, something deeper than friendship. Something the public was never meant to see. Others argued it revealed nothing romantic, only a strong bond formed through years of trust and shared moments. But regardless of interpretation, one truth became clear. This was the most intimate celebrity leak of the year. Not because the photos were scandalous, but because they were real. They showed Kai and Tan Songyun not as idols, not as stars, not as characters in a drama, but as two humans who cared about each other in a way the world never got to see. And the biggest question remained. Why did Kai keep these photos? Why did he save them in a folder titled Moments Not for Camera? Why did someone need to capture these memories so carefully, so intentionally? Were they simply friends? Something more? Or was this album just a collection of nostalgic snapshots from two people who shared a temporary moment in time? Until now, neither actor has acknowledged the leaked album. Not a word. Not a comment. Not a hint. Silence can be loud. Very loud. And sometimes, silence reveals more than any statement ever could. But whether these photos point to a secret romance, a deep friendship, or something more mysterious, one thing is clear. The world has never looked at Kai and Tan Songyun the same way again. And fans continue to wonder. What other moments exist, hidden in private folders, tucked away in forgotten devices, locked behind passwords that the public will never see? Was this album an accident? Or was it a message? A soft one? A quiet one? A memory slipping out into the world unintentionally, but perfectly timed to remind everyone that behind the glamorous lights and carefully crafted images, celebrities have moments they protect fiercely. And sometimes, just sometimes, those moments slip through. The moment the hidden photo album leaked, the internet caught fire, but what most people don't know is that those first images were only the surface. The real shock came when eagle-eyed fans began piecing together context behind each image, revealing layers of connection that no camera crew, no PR team, and no drama script ever captured. And that's where the story gets even more explosive. Because while the world focused on the umbrella photo, the noodle shop shot, and the infamous Riverside picture, there were details quietly hiding in the background, tiny elements that, when placed together, painted a story far deeper than anyone expected. The first clue came from a seemingly ordinary snapshot, Kai and Tan Songyun sitting by a courtyard wall, the sunset dripping gold behind them. But when fans zoomed into the corner of the image, they noticed something that no one caught at first glance, a handwritten note stuck to Kai's backpack. The note was small, barely visible, but the few words that could be read said, "Remember tonight." Those two words sent fans into a frenzy. Remember what about tonight? Who wrote the note? Why did he keep it on his bag? And more importantly, why was Tan Songyun smiling in that photo as if she already knew exactly what the note meant? The theories multiplied like wildfire. But the real explosion happened when more enhanced screenshots revealed the reflection of someone holding the camera, and that someone was Tan Songyun. She was the one capturing Kai in that golden light, not just posing with him, but documenting a moment she felt was important enough to save. The next image unraveled even more. The car selfie, the now iconic shot where they tried to squeeze into one frame, had a detail most people overlooked at first. Behind them on the car console was a small paper cup with a doodle drawn on it. A doodle of two stick figures holding hands. It was so small, so innocent, so childlike, yet it felt unmistakably intimate. Who drew it? Why was it kept? Fans didn't have answers, but they had theories. And those theories only grew when someone found the original location tag embedded in the photo metadata, a resort area outside Beijing known for its privacy and exclusive couples retreats. A coincidence? Maybe. But the storm wasn't done. The next bombshell came from the photo of Tan Songyun asleep on the couch under a soft blanket, taken from the perfect angle, the kind of angle you capture only when you're close enough to the person to want to preserve the moment forever. The caption "she fell asleep before finishing her story" felt almost cinematic, but what fans discovered next made it even more dramatic. In the small corner of the picture, a half-finished notebook lay open. On the visible page, the handwriting looked like Tan Songyun's. The words were partially cut off, but what could be seen read. And that's when I realized maybe this is what it feels like to be truly seen. Fans lost their minds. Was she writing a personal diary entry? A story? A confession? Or something she intended to read to Kai before falling asleep? Whatever it was, the meaning hit like a tidal wave. But the next revelation, the one that pushed the entire fandom into meltdown, came from the art gallery photo. At first glance, it looked like a normal, calm moment, Tan Songyun pointing at a painting while Kai admired her instead of the art. But when fans enhanced the image, a small silver necklace was visible under Tan Songyun's sweater. A necklace that had been spotted once before around Kai's neck during a behind-the-scenes video months earlier. Couple jewelry? Shared accessory? Borrowed item? The internet exploded with speculation. But then came the discovery that changed everything. A superfan dug into old interview clips and found one where Kai was asked about his ideal type. At the time, he'd given a vague, harmless answer: someone warm who makes every place feel like home. No one thought much of it. But now, after the leak, fans placed that interview side by side with the noodle shop photo. Why? Because in that photo, behind Tan Songyun, on the wall of the tiny restaurant, was a framed quote that read, "Home is not a place. It's a feeling." Was it intentional? A coincidence? Or a message hidden in plain sight? People didn't know, but they were sure of one thing: these photos weren't random. Every image felt like a piece of a larger story. A story that two people lived privately, quietly, and without the cameras they usually faced. Then came the river boardwalk picture, the one where Tan Songyun hugged Kai from behind while laughing into his shoulder. Fans had already gone wild over the photo itself, but more details surfaced when someone brightened the shadows. In the background, faint but visible, was a small street artist's booth. And on the table, two caricature sketches of a couple, one of a tall man in a cap, one of a petite woman smiling brightly. The man looked exactly like Kai. The woman looked exactly like Tan Songyun. They weren't just walking by the booth. They had stopped there. They had been drawn. They had stood together long enough for an artist to capture them as a pair. And the most shocking detail? Each of them held the other's drawing in their hand. One fan posted the brightened image and wrote, "People don't do caricatures unless they're together. These pictures, they're not just memories. They're moments." That comment alone gathered over 300,000 likes in hours. But the final and most heart-stopping discovery came from the pair of Polaroids at the end of the album. Everyone had focused on the way they photographed each other with that look, the look that screamed warmth, fondness, and something deeper. But one fan noticed something others missed. The corner of one Polaroid had writing on it. Very faint. Almost invisible. But visible enough when zoomed in. On Kai's Polaroid, the one Tan Songyun took, tiny handwriting said, "My favorite view." Fans screamed. The internet froze. This wasn't a random picture. It wasn't a casual snapshot. It was a moment someone wanted to remember forever. But then came the twist no one expected, the detail that turned the entire leak into a mystery rather than just a romantic revelation. On the back of the Polaroid showing Tan Songyun in the sunset, the one Kai took, there was a small line written in pen. "For the day we don't have to hide anymore." No one knows who wrote it. No one knows what it meant. But those words. Those 8 words reshaped everything. Were they dating secretly? Were they planning to reveal something in the future? Was this a message to themselves? Or was this simply a poetic line written for memory's sake? No answers came from their teams. No clarifications. No apology. No explanation. Only silence. And that silence left fans spinning with questions, theories, emotions, and anticipation. Because suddenly, the leak wasn't just about private photos anymore. It was about a story hidden behind those images, hidden in captions, reflections, shadows, handwritten notes, shared jewelry, and unspoken moments. A story that felt too real to ignore, too emotional to dismiss, too intimate to forget. These weren't just photos. They were chapters of a private connection the world was never meant to see. And that was exactly why the leak became the most talked about moment in Kai and Tan Songyun's career, a moment that left fans with one burning question. What really happened between them? And will the truth ever come out? If you loved this continuation of the hidden photo album, then make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more exclusive, deep dive celebrity stories that will blow your mind. Now tell me in the comments. Which hidden detail shocked you the most? Do you think the writing on the Polaroid suggests a secret relationship? If you were Shu Kai or Tan Songyun, would you have kept these photos? And, should I continue this story with part 3? Drop your thoughts below, I'm watching the comment.